Hey, teacher fam, Anton here, and welcome back to the Teacher Support Network podcast. Now, let's be real. At the start of the school year, we all pull out the icebreakers, name games, find a friend who, two truths and a lie. You know the drill. And listen, those things are fun, and they all have their place. But here's the thing. Relationship building doesn't stop after the first week of school. Whether you're kicking off in August or September, or you're smack dab in the middle of March, we're always building relationships, especially with our students. And for our students with disabilities, those connections aren't optional. They're the foundation that makes everything else possible. So today in this episode, we're going to talk about how to go beyond icebreakers, not just in the first week of school, but all year round. And here's the truth. Trust and safety are the foundation of learning. If a student doesn't feel safe, known, or cared for, the academics won't land right, and definitely they won't stick. And for students with disabilities, that's even more true. Think about it. Many of them have had years of frustration, exclusion, or from just the general education population, or just being underestimated. They walk into our classrooms with those experiences in their background. So building a strong relationship says, this year is going to be different. I see you, and as a teacher, I'm here for you. And don't get me wrong, icebreakers and fun activities, they have their place. But real connection goes beyond knowing someone's favorite color or what pet they have. It's about understanding their triggers. It's about knowing what motivates them. It's about listening to their story and stories that they've had beyond the IEP paperwork in their files. And those little insights that we get as we build relationships, they become your guidebook for how you support them day to day. So let me give you a few quick practical ways to start building those deeper connections with our students, especially our students with disabilities. So first, greet them by name and pronounce it correctly. Now let me pause here because this one's kind of personal. So my name is Anton, and it's spelled A-N-T-O-I-N-E. It's pronounced Anton. Growing up, people would always say Antoine instead of Anton. And I had this choice every time. Do I correct them? Do I let it slide? Do I remind them again? And sometimes I correct people and they'd still forget and get it wrong. And then sometimes I just stop correcting because it just felt too exhausting reminding them all the time of how to pronounce my name. But I'll never forget when someone would actually say my name correctly. It made me feel seen. It made me feel like they cared enough to slow down, to pay attention, and to get it right. And our students feel that too, especially those who already may feel overlooked or misunderstood. Saying their name and pronouncing it correctly isn't just about showing respect. It's about a sense of identity and belonging and giving that to them. So here's a pro tip. If a name of a student feels tricky, just write it out phonetically on your roster. Practice it and then practice it again. Even ask your students to help teach you how to say it correctly. But keep practicing it until you've got it. Because when you greet a student by name and you say it correctly, you're communicating, you matter, you belong here, and I see you as an individual. Another strategy in helping to build relationships is to schedule intentional check-ins. So whether it's a morning meeting, a 2-minute desk chat, or when you just greet them at the door, just make space to hear their voices every day. And I think when you do that, they will feel seen. Third, leverage their interest in learning. So if a student loves basketball, maybe work that into a math story problem or writing assignment. If they're into drawing, give them maybe a visual way to show what they know. There are so many different creative ways to integrate a student's interest into their learning experience. And this one really makes a huge difference. Let me give you a quick story to illustrate this. So last year I was observing a lesson from a student teacher I was supervising. She was working on her degree and certification in special education, and I was observing her teaching to give her feedback. So in her math lesson, she had a third grade student. She was teaching adding and subtracting using story problems. And the student that she was working with often struggled with behavior and focus in class. But this kid really loved animals. So instead of just giving him the same plain word problems as everyone else, this teacher created visuals and story problems using different animals she knew he liked. And here's the key. She even gave him choice about which problems he wanted to solve as they were going through the lesson. And as I was sitting there and observing, I noticed the shift. That student leaned in more, focused, and actually engaged in the math skills she was teaching with minimal behavior issues during the lesson and just needed a short break or two between one or two of the story problems. Why? Because 1, he had a choice, and 2, the problems really connected to something he cared about. So it kept his focus. And that's the power of tapping into student interests. When kids see themselves in the lesson, the relationship grows stronger and the lesson sticks better. And finally, share a little bit about yourself. Students connect with authenticity. They usually know when we're not being genuine, especially our older students in middle and high school, and they're not afraid to call us out. I mean, have you ever been called out by a student? I know I have, many times. And trust me, it's not fun. And I'm sure it wasn't fun if it happened to you. But when they see you as real and not perfect, it really opens the door for them to be real with you as well. And as a result, it helps to deepen that bond and that relationship. And you get to know who they are better, and they get to start trusting you better. So when you start teaching them skills and start helping them to try to move forward throughout the year, they're more able to do it and more able to trust you because you've built that relationship. So here's the truth. Relationships really don't grow overnight. You're planting seeds every single day of the school year. Some weeks you might see fruit right away. But other times it may feel like nothing's breaking through. But don't stop. Whether it's week 1 or week 21, keep showing up, keep planting. Because every smile, every check-in you give, and just every intentional choice to see a student for who they really are, it really all adds up, and it really helps deepen the bond that you can have with that student. So be encouraged, teacher friend. Being intentional and building relationships with students, especially our students with disabilities, is worth the patience and the time it may take to help your students grow and positively move forward this school year. So before we wrap up this episode, I want to put a tool in your hand. If you're looking for a simple way to kick off starting collaboration with your co-teacher or instructional assistant this year, grab my free Gen Ed and SPED Teacher Collaborative Conversations Guide. It's got easy question prompts to help set the tone for teamwork right from the start. So I'll drop it in the link in the resource section of the show notes for this episode. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take some of those strategies and use them with your students with disabilities to help build that relationship this year where you're at right now and throughout the year moving forward. Take care.